Welcome to Paranormal Central, broadcasting live from Central California with your hosts Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas. Broadcasting video worldwide at paranormalcentral.net and broadcasting audio on the Dark Matter Network at artbell.com. Are you ready to witness something that you cannot explain?
I'm looking for you. You're looking for me. We have to decide what it will be. Can it be true? Can I believe the unexplained?
Lighter.
Look into the sky. You realize you're not alone. Open your eyes. You can find the trails that control.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Paranormal Central. My name is Jeffrey Gonzalez. I am your host for the show, but I can't do it by myself. I have two other important people here with me, and I forgot their names. Psych.
Thanks, Jeff.
To my right, and that is to your left, you are looking at Alan Thomas.
Hi, everyone. Good evening.
And manning the boards, which is in front of us. You can't see her, but you can only hear her, Emerald Bonilla.
Hi, guys.
Alan had the volume on over here, and he's trying to mute it. All right, we got a great show for you guys tonight, like always. And again, I appreciate you guys all being here on a Sunday evening. I know you guys would rather be with your family, but nah, I think it's here. I think it's better here. We got some good stuff. We got somebody coming on tonight that's going to be calling in. Her name is Kathy Strain. She is, if you remember the episode of Monsters and Mysteries that we were on, Bigfoot Wars, she was the lady who was narrating basically as we were doing our stuff. She would come on and talk about the Native Americans, and well, what she is works for the government, guys, and she's actually going to be talking on with us. So hopefully we were not going to get her in trouble, but I'm going to try to get her in trouble because I'm going to see if I can get some top secret stuff out of her tonight. So she knows a lot of stuff about the Native Americans and the Bigfoot and monsters and Thule Reservation. We're going to get down to some cool stuff tonight. But first, like always, we have two reporters who are going to come on the phone tonight, and they're going to talk about UFOs and Sasquatch. Right now, first of all, we have Ken Pfeiffer, who is on the East Coast. He is an investigator from MUFON, and he is going to come on and give us a scoop on the recent UFO sightings from around the world or in the U.S. Some good photos that we have up on our website at paranormalcentral.net, or you can go to artbell.com on the Dark Matter Network. They have them up there as well. So you can, if you want, we've been getting a lot of feedback on the sound quality, and they say artbell.com is some kicking butt, and it's kicking some serious butt. So I would say mute us at live stream and go to artbell.com and listen to us there. And I think you'll get the best of both worlds. So right now we're going to talk to Ken. Ken, are you there?
Hey, Jeff. Hey, pal. How you doing?
Good, man.
Hi,
How's it
Ken.
going?
Hey, Alan. How are you doing?
Really well.
All
I'm
right.
hanging in there. The photos look pretty good on the Art Bell website.
Hey, I tell you, we were just talking to Keith right now, who's the master behind all that, and the guy's a whiz. I don't know if anybody knows this, but he actually put together, I think, started the Rush Limbaugh website, and Dr. Was it Laura?
Dr. Laura.
Dr. Laura's website. So yeah, he's been around, and then now he handles Art Bell. So I can say he's
doing a great job.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job. So he's kicking some, So all right, we're gonna go ahead and get started on some UFOs pictures, and like I said, you can go to artbell.com, and they're like right there, so you can go ahead and if you're not near a computer, you can go ahead and pull them up on your phone if you want. Go to artbell.com and take a look. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pull up UFO number 1. And what is the scoop on this photograph?
Yeah, that's number one. That was April 21st, 2014, in Bemidji, Minnesota. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Have you guys seen the new show Fargo on TV yet?
No, I haven't, but I heard about it though.
Yeah, they had that sign. They had a sign up there, Bemidji, and I said to my wife, "How the hell do you pronounce that? I've never seen it before." And then the next day, this comes up on one of the UFO photos. I was kind of shocked, but yeah, this was April 24, 2014, Minnesota. Brief statement on the evening of 4/21 at approximately 21:30. That's 9:30 civilian time. My girlfriend and I noticed a very bright and colorful object in the eastern sky. So we hooked up my tripod and video camera and went to the college campus in Bemidji to observe the film said object. While taking photos and some videos, we noticed a smaller object very high in the sky that appeared to be solid white, moving from the south-southwest and moving at a steady, fast clip heading due north. I had my video camera on the tripod and tried to follow it as best I could as it moved across the sky. This was at approximately 2,200 hours. While observing this object, we noticed another similar object moving from west to northeast. However, I kept the video camera on this object. After we filmed it for around 1 minute, we also noticed a smaller bluish-colored object appear, which had flashing lights and seemed to be even higher than the object in question. Appear out of nowhere and seemed to be staying with the object in question. I continued to track the object. I'd referred and caught the flashing object in the video as well, but within seconds after the second object came into view, the brighter orb-type object completely disappeared in mid-flight. So that's apparently this is another one of them high-flying objects. As you remember, I think it was last week or the week before, we had something that looked pretty similar from 4/12/14, Boston, Massachusetts, had basically the same looking orb thing. Now, I don't know if this is an orb or the bottom portion of a disc. It's really hard to tell, but it was pretty spectacular. It's a high flyer, so I have no idea what it is.
Right on that. Yeah, it's hard to tell depending on the how far it was, and you have to take all that into consideration. And without that information, you can't tell.
Yeah, because I know there's tons of satellites. As a matter of fact, there's a website. It's www.n2yo.com. Go on that, and you can track all the satellites. So, I mean, there's thousands up there flying around. From what I understand, the military now has 2 satellites that are traveling in pairs. But of course, these satellites they can't do 90-degree turns.
Right.
So there's a lot of high flying satellites up there right now.
Yep, sure are. All right, we're going to go to photograph number 2.
Yeah, this is April 21st, 2014. The same date. This is Oakdale, Minnesota. This photo, this image looked like it was probably only a couple hundred feet up in the sky. I had to crop it out because I had some trees and things like that in it, but I cropped it as best I could to enlarge it. But brief statement is I have a Nikon D5000 DSLR, which means digital single lens reflex, with a 70 to 300 millimeter zoom lens. All 3 lights blinked out one by one before I could get the camera ready. I continued to wait and watch, and sure enough, one of the lights blinked back on again. This light did appear to be moving up and to the right. I was able to take a few photos of the light before it blinked out. I watched for a while longer and saw no more lights, so I put the camera away and went into the store. When I came back out of the store, there was no more lights in the sky, but I got the camera and waited for a while, and sure enough, at approximately 8:47 p.m., the light blinked back on again. I tried some different settings on the camera, and some of the shutter speeds were so low and the images blurred. A second light blinked on again to the right, south of the first light. Then the first light blinked out, and I placed the camera on the roof of my vehicle in an attempt to get a clear and steady video shot as possible. When I got home, I viewed the photos on my computer and noticed on the photo that they were blurred, and the blurring caused several more lights to appear in the photo that were not visible to my naked eye. naked eye. Sometimes blurring on photos, you get kind of a lens flare effect of the photo that you're actually taking a picture of. So I was able to crop that out on this photo here. Continuing throughout my life, I have had several encounters with UFOs and unexplained lights, but this was the first time I was able to capture a photo. So that's the one there from Oakdale, Minnesota. That was a pretty strange. I have no idea what that is.
Right on. All right, going to UFO number 3, and I remember this one. You sent this on your feed, and I got the email on this one. Go for it.
Yeah, this was pretty cool. December 3rd, 2013, flight over Atlanta, Georgia. Statement is, hi, my name is Andy, and I am a former U.S. Navy AMS/Airedale and Flyer. Maybe AMS. I think AMS means Aviation Structural Mechanic, if I'm not mistaken. I was on a flight from my home in St. Thomas and going to Atlanta, Georgia in December 2013. I hadn't flown in several years, and being excited to go home and see my family and friends, I was randomly taking video of the clouds and ground. Yeah, I know, corny, bear with me. I didn't realize until I got home from my vacation 10 days later and was watching all my videos and reviewing pics that I had captured, something that I cannot explain. It's very large and seems to be moving from the left to the right in the top of the screen. It was at a great distance away, I'd say 20 miles out, and had been miles across to be visible at that location. On this photo here, I had to crop it out and enlarge it and bring it a lot closer. So the guy could be right. This could have been a humongous disc, and it could have been 20 miles away. Because myself being a private pilot, sometimes I fly out of Cross Keys Airport in South Jersey, and Cross Keys Airport's approximately 50 miles from Atlantic City. And if I'm in my landing pattern for Cross Keys Airport, I'm only at 1,000 feet. I could easily see Atlantic City's skyline, which is 50 miles away. I mean, it's very visible, and on a clear day, you can, they say you can see for miles. But it says here that it's very large and seems to be moving from left to the right. I'd say 20 miles. I've been miles across to be visible at that distance. I had flown with the Navy and all over the U.S. and the Caribbean for many years. This is simply a huge object. I posted it on Facebook to some close friends, and several thought it was exceptional. The reason I am sending this to you is that I happened to see a show on H2 UFO Hunters today. Episode originally airing on February 4th, 2009, and two different pilots, a British guy and a French pilot, seem to have seen the same thing as I did. The difference is that this object seemed to be emanate light, while mine seemed to be very black. So, that's that's a pretty incredible shot there. That and I think did I send you the video on that?
No, I just got the email report that you sent out, and I got that. But you know what's crazy is that I took a similar picture north of Fresno, and it almost looks exactly the same. I think I might. Really? I think I might even still have the freaking photo on if I didn't erase it. But I'll have to go back and look. And if I do find it, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, the video wasn't really that great. That's why I like to go through the videos and
take some snapshots of the best. Right.
Yeah, crop it out as best I can. So that was pretty cool.
All right.
When you're way up above the clouds, usually it's really clear,
Right.
I mean, really clear.
Okay, got number 4 on the screen.
Okay, yeah, number 4. This is from STS-110.
Okay, now this is cool, guys.
STS, what STS means? It means Space Transportation System, if anybody's wondering. This is an incredible photo.
Okay.
Let me see. A brief statement here is the main purpose of STS-110 was to attach the SO truss segment to the International Space Station, ISS, to the Destiny Laboratory module. It forms the backbone of the station, to which the S1 and P1 truss segments were attached on the following missions: STS-112 and STS-113, respectively. STS-110 also delivered the module transporter MT, which is a 885 kilogram assembly that glides down rails on the station integrated struts. If you guys are understanding any of this stuff. The MT was designed and manufactured for Aerospace in California during the next shuttle mission. STS-111, the mobile base system, was mounted on the MT. The mobile servicing system allows the Canada Arm 2 to travel down the length of the truss structures. Now, Space Shuttle Atlantis successfully landed on 8 April 2002 from Launch Complex 39B, which is a lot of that sounds like double talk to me. But as a matter of fact, I finally got myself an insider from NASA, and he is starting to get some photos to me. As
really?
to number 5. I think number 5 photo there is one of the photos.
Okay.
I really don't have
all right.
information.
Whoa. Time out. Okay. You got an insider who's sending you some stuff from NASA. And
starting to get things from this gentleman I know.
okay. And this is this number 4 picture is one of those.
No, number 4
5.
picture. That's from the internet. You can get that on the internet.
Okay, so we go to number 5 then. Let's see what number 5 is.
Number 5. That's the picture that I was sent.
Holy crap!
This was January 12th, 1986.
What is that, a
let's see.
Stargate or something?
Okay, I understand. The ones with the rings here, that is the photo that sent to me from NASA. Now, I don't have any information. I'm in the process of getting information on this photo, and I'll be updating this in the near future. But this is just a photo that I sent you just to show you that there's some crazy stuff up there in orbit.
You think?
See, and now this is public. Public don't see this one usually. I've never seen.
I've never seen this one either. This is cool. Okay, so we have. So okay, that's good because you're getting some good stuff now, and
that's really good.
Yeah. So we want to make sure you're still alive. Make sure you take care of yourself. Watch your back.
And for picture 6, that's the one that has the triangle there.
Oh! I've seen this one.
Yeah, that's the one. That is STS-61C. That was the 24th mission of NASA's Space Shuttle program. And the funny part, the crazy part about, you can read that or people can read that, the statement on there, but what really stands out is this mission was the last shuttle mission before the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster, which occurred just 10 days later after STS-61C's landing. So 10 days after this, basically after this photo was taken, that's when the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster happened.
Wow.
So, I don't know, that seemed to be too much of a coincidence to me for some reason.
Yeah.
That one looks like ours.
A lot of speculation as to what happened with that Challenger disaster. And as a matter of fact, I think there are some NASA photos floating around of some of the tiles that came off of the space shuttle before it crashed,
right?
Or before it started to enter,
and that's where the heat got in.
Atmosphere. So that's another thing that I'm working on right now. But I'll let you know about that.
Right on. Very cool.
Cool.
We have a secret space program, right, Ken?
I think so.
Okay, and I believe maybe what we're looking at here, right here on picture number 6, is that. That secret space
that's
program.
possible, yeah. It's one of them military X-craft.
Right.
I'm assuming. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what it is.
Right. So, right on.
Yeah.
Okay. That was number 6. That's all you sent me was number 6, right? Cool.
Yeah, just 6 of them.
Okay, very cool. All right, Ken. Thank you very much. And what is your website again, please?
My main website, I got over 7,000 photos, coming close to 7,500 photos on there. It's www.worldufophotos.org, and my news website is worldufophotosannews.org. Check them out. I got some good stuff on it.
Cool. And also, we have his links on our website at paranormalcentral.net. There is a link that says reporters for Paranormal Central, one for Ken and one for Danny. And by all means, get out there and click on it, and that way you can just click on the websites and you're there. So, all right, Ken, appreciate it. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next Sunday, okay?
Man, good work.
Okay, gentlemen, have a great week.
All right,
See
take
you
care.
later, Ken.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bye.
they can also scroll down to the bottom, if you get right on paranormalcentral.net and just scroll down the page. I have him down at the bottom.
Bottom too? Okay.
Both of the links at the bottom.
Okay.
Right.
Right on.
I'm saving that one for our, if we ever get any sponsors. I got a place for him, but only right now, he's
Okay.
it.
Okay. So, right on. Okay, now we're going to have Danny Valderrama. He is a Sasquatch
Danny.
geek. And he's also a murderer by trade on UPS. No. He's going to be calling in with the Sasquatch report for us.
FBI after
And
him.
Danny, are you there?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Danny, you sounded
All right.
good. This
Now
time.
it sounds a lot better.
Wow.
See, I didn't know that we were talking to you on a cell phone, or else I would have told
Yeah.
you to get back on a landline a long time ago. But now you sound like you should sound. So, all right.
Hold on, we gotta ask him. Have you hit anybody
Hey.
recently?
Any kill anybody? Find any dead bodies?
No, not yet. Nobody pissed me off.
Slacker. Come on, get with it. No,
Nobody
yeah, right.
cut him off this week.
Okay, we're going to go to the pictures that Danny has sent us, and picture number one is, as soon as I click on, is the poster for another Bigfoot movie that's coming out. And how would you
Yet another Bigfoot movie.
and how would you
Another-
pronounce this?
Skookum.
Skookum. That's what I
Doesn't,
thought.
doesn't
So,
that mean like poo?
Means strong, brave, or impressive.
Ooh, and Danny has that already ready to go. Damn.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to ask that.
I always thought it was like poop.
I almost thought it looked like scrotum, but it's okay. That's just, you look at it, that's what it looks like, right? I mean, okay, never mind. Well, but never mind. Okay, Danny, talk about this movie. What's up with this movie?
All right, it's coming out September 10th of this year.
Okay.
It takes place in the Louisiana swamps, and it's about a giant hairy creature with glowing red eyes.
Glowing red eye.
The movie's about a glamorous talk show host who must leave her position to search for her sister who's lost in the swamp. And her sister just happens to be a Bigfoot researcher.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And this was, I think they based this movie on the Mike Woolley sighting that we talked about last week, just briefly. He was the one that was in the tree stand and saw, or he was hunting out there and he saw a Bigfoot, and then when he was running back to his car, that he found out there was two Bigfoots chasing him.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that was a good story.
Right
That was
on.
a good
Yeah, it's a
story.
great story. Yeah,
So
but he's in the
any
movie too.
big time actors on this one?
One that everybody knows.
Oh, that's right.
Dr. Jeff Meldrum is in this movie. And he
Really?
plays Dr. Jeff Cameron.
Now, why don't they just use his real name?
Everybody knows who he is. So
He's
I don't know why
incognito.
he would do that.
I don't understand that. Just, I mean,
Man,
they're-
isn't that his picture on the poster? No, I'm
Oh,
just kidding.
no. Jeff,
It's not on the poster,
you
but it's on the information of the movie.
Okay.
The movie page
Uh-huh.
has everybody who's in the movie. He's right in there.
Okay.
Wow.
Right on. So, and I
He's
remember.
been showing up everywhere.
Yeah, he is. Well, hey, you know what? And we'll talk about this afterwards, but Giorgio was out with him, right? Recently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Out in the Olympic
We'll talk.
national
We'll
sport.
talk about that in a little bit. So, all right. Very cool. And
Okay.
so, what do you
That
think
is
about this
cool.
movie?
I don't know about this one. I've only seen one trailer for it, and it looks kind of like a low-budget film.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. So.
Yeah.
Man,
No-
all the Bigfoot ones are
No,
that,
not
you know.
Bigfoot Wars though.
Bigfoot
with
Wars is a big budget.
that's
one
a big
is.
budget.
But
so.
I mean, if all the ones up to the Bigfoot War are all like, you know,
Yeah, even like when I heard Bobcat Goldthwait one was like
yeah, cheese.
cheesy. So
Yeah.
okay, all right. Next one we're going to is Bigfoot number 2,
They're all
and we
written
have
by blonde, you know, people.
This comes to us from Florida. This is posted by Christian
blonde
Ramos.
people.
He was out buying some fasteners in a Florida shop, and he saw this hanging on the back wall. So he asked the owner about it, and the owner says that he had it made after he had a sighting. So it's an exact replica of what he had witnessed.
Really?
Where this is at? Where?
It's in Florida, so this is like the skunk ape.
Skunk Ape.
It's kind of cute.
It is cute.
Wow.
And people have noticed that it was made out of a deer hide. It's just upside down.
Oh.
So that would be the deer's tail that looks like a goatee.
It's not so cute no more.
Oh.
So it's a butt face.
Wow.
Yeah.
A deer butt face.
I've always seen on Facebook too. They have like dogs turned around with their tail up, and sometimes they look like faces, right? Their ass. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Right. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking at. An ass. All right.
Well, that's interesting right there.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
yeah, that's cool.
Furby, somebody said in chat.
All right, Bigfoot number 3.
All right, this one has 5 pictures with it.
Okay.
This is from Kentucky. This is Robert Brachter. He's signed a non-disclosure agreement, so he can't say exactly where this is at. But he's too excited and he can't hold that much information back, so he's let some spill.
What do you mean?
And he wasn't supposed to talk about anything, I guess. And
Why?
He's posted some pictures. I guess they're trying to keep it quiet until they get enough information to release it.
Yeah, $2 million this dude's looking at.
Wait. Oh,
I've signed those agreements.
Okay. Well, time out. So he's going to be in a in a Bigfoot what documentary?
It doesn't say anything about him being anywhere, but it's all the members in their group have signed a non-disclosure act to keep all the information that they get private, so they don't lose their sight to other people coming in. I think that's the reason why.
So it's just something personal among themselves.
Hopefully he has deep pockets.
It's a Kentucky habituation site.
Okay.
Wow.
You know what?
That's
then,
a big foot for a Kentucky one.
Then you know what? We need to call the site up there a site. The California.
Yeah, ours would be a habituation site if they're living there.
Because that
pretty much are.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. So I mean, if we really wanted to make it official.
Well, I was just telling that group that you got me in on Facebook. I was telling them, I was complaining about how they're closing up the forest, and I asked this ranger the other day if I got an electric quad. I'm handicapped. Can I take my power chair or electric quad? And they said no. And I was like, what? They're keeping the disabled out. But when I'll walk down there, I'll continue to walk down there and hurt for days after, because every time we go, something happens.
Well, you can't fly the overhead drones in the national parks anymore.
I know they just made that illegal. So I think they're thinking about us coming in later.
Our area is real active. Every time we go there, something happens. They even wolf whistle at us.
Oh yeah. So
they like Danny. They're like
big time.
Hey, Danny.
Bend over, Danny. What? Okay, I got picture number with the guy on his knees and he's casting.
Yeah, he posted these on May 2nd. These are footprints that he found on April 26th. He found multiple prints from a giant trackway. This one's 21 inches long, 9 inches wide, and where he found it was 4.5 inches deep into the ground.
Wow.
And it had a 6-foot stride in between the footprints.
So it's 4 inches deep and 6 feet apart. Holy cow!
4 inches, dude. That's pretty heavy.
He also found a 15-inch print in a bedding area where they had been sleeping, and with the 15-inch footprint seemed to be following the other one, and they were walking towards a pond to drink water. It looked like.
Wow. And look where they're at, people. When you're looking at this picture, it's not the mountains. All right,
foothills.
It's a hills, the foothills, lower elevation. Don't think that the Bigfoots are like way up high elevation, guys. Matter of fact, they're low.
Yeah.
And they're out there and they're moving at nighttime when you guys are asleep. This is where it all happens. Matter of fact, I got a phone call. A couple hours ago, and I'll tell you about it afterwards. But very
if you
cool.
live on the outskirts of the city near any canals or creeks or rivers, they might be in your backyard.
That's right. So, okay, now we got the other picture and the cast on a white piece of paper.
Yep, shows them casting them, all that good stuff.
Right on. All right, let's go to the next one. And this is with the cast in it. The plaster, I'm sorry. Cool. You know what? I have mine around here someplace that I actually cast myself. I'll have to show it to you, everybody. All right, cool there. And let's go to, and that is, I guess, the actual point.
These guys didn't sign the NDA, though, right? This is like okay stuff.
Well, that just did. Who knows? What do you mean?
I mean, this isn't from those guys that signed the disclosure.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, man.
So that's why, he's a ding dong if his partners really get
Holy
pissed off at him.
Oh, man, they are.
I'm outing him.
We already did.
Well, he's
It's
worldwide
on,
now.
It's on worldwide now, so
Yeah.
busted. And they can't sue us because if you put him out, that's his fault, not mine. All right, got Bigfoot number 8. They got this, looks like, what is that?
Soundwave.
Soundwave?
Audio file.
Yep.
This is from Michigan. It happened in 2011 in July, but it's ongoing. It looks like.
Okay.
This is a family that's been hearing sounds coming out of their the forest that's near their house all summer long.
Okay. And
they know it's not a animal they've heard before.
Okay, so
They've been recording it.
I got that on my iPhone right now. So we're gonna let everybody hear some killer recordings. So go ahead and continue talking until I don't know how much more you have, and then I'll go ahead and
Right.
play.
They have they've been hearing howls, tree knockings, deep guttural noises, whooping noises, and they can hear somebody talking in the forest, but they can't make out anything that they're saying. These are by 3 witnesses that live at the house, and there's a history of reports from this area too. So
Okay.
it's a pretty good chance that they are hearing what they think they're hearing.
Yep. Okay. All
So
right.
they called the BFRO, and the BFRO came down to visit them for a day.
Told him it was a coyote, right?
So what
Sorry,
did
BFRO
So what did the
guys,
BFRO say? Obviously they wrote out a report.
Yeah, he came out there and he looked around the farm and went into the hills with them. And they told him that the horses could predict whenever there's going to be a sighting or that they hear sound or activity. So they went in and he found water. He found a river and a swamp nearby. And when they came back to the house, they noticed that the horses were running around the corral, kicking its back legs. So the woman that was there said, "Okay, we're going to have activity tonight," because that's what they do.
Wow.
So when it got dark, they all sat outside and they tried some tree knocking, and they were recording, and they got some tree knocks back.
Cool. See, that's
So
awesome.
around 9 o'clock, they went out to the middle of a field, and they set up a recorder, and they could hear the high-pitched whistles and whoops and all that stuff, and they were getting more screams and moans.
Wow.
And then around 11:30, they went back out to get the recorder, and when he was playing it back, he could hear something walking up to the recorder, and he thought it was him, but he kept listening, and he could hear the barn door from where they were at, and he could hear his footsteps walking up to the recorder. So he knew it wasn't him. So just before he got there, something walked up to the recorder to see what it was, and then heard him coming and left.
Wow. And he didn't put up any game cameras.
They would have
No,
watched him.
no game cameras. It didn't say anything, but he was there just for the day. He spent all day and then until about 1 o'clock in the morning with them before he left.
Wow.
I
You
have
imagine?
a theory.
As he was standing there with the
Yeah.
recorder out in the middle of the field, he could hear somebody talking, a male voice in the woods about 100 yards away from him, but he couldn't make out what he was saying. But he felt that whatever it was saying was directed towards him,
Yeah.
like
Wow.
to leave the area.
Yeah.
That's what the impression that he got.
Wow. Okay, what I'm going to hit right now is vocals and... Oh, yeah, I'm out of here.
That's what happens when you get hung up on a barbed wire fence.
Okay, here's another one. And this is all from the recording that these people have done. And I'm looking at the dates in this January 2012. And that whole year, there's a lot of different ones. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and play you another one. It happened June the 17th, 2012. Cool. All
You
right.
think he's like enamored by his sound of his voice, like echoing, and he's like, "Oh, that was good. oh, that was a better one."
All right, let's try a knock and a howl. Shit.
Wow.
That scared the crap out of me. The first one. Okay, vocals. Here's some vocals here. Very cool.
You could tell they're not human.
That is cool. All right.
So he was standing in the driveway when he was getting ready to leave, and he told them that the woods were about 100 yards away from him, and he told them, when I drive away, just stay out here for a couple minutes, and you should hear an all-clear signal from them, letting the other ones know around that I've left the area.
Wow.
That's usually what they do. So while they were out there talking, they heard a large growl come from the woods. So they knew that they were there watching him, and they stayed out there for another 21 minutes until all the vocalizations in the forest stopped, and they could hear him moving further away. So I guess they got tired of them waiting to leave.
That's where a FLIR would come in handy. You imagine if you had a FLIR right there. You imagine if this family had a FLIR, and they could at nighttime literally see
heat-seeking
all
camera.
of the Bigfoots out in the forest looking right at them.
See, a lot of people don't know what that is. You tell them what it is.
Well,
Jeff.
okay, FLIR is a it's I don't want to say it's a
Something we're going to talk
camera.
about next.
What's that?
Something we're going to talk about next.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh,
cool.
Well, I didn't
Let's
know
go
that.
to the next.
Okay.
Right on.
Cool.
But anyways, to finish up with this one,
Okay.
So far they've recorded 210 hours of recordings.
Wow, man, we should go over there.
No kidding.
They're very active right now, and it's an interaction between at least two individuals. And there's another BFRO investigator that's come on to help this investigator, and he's a former crypto linguist. He's new to studying Sasquatch vocalizations, but he's out there listening to them, and he says it's pretty much what they think it is.
Wow.
The presence of multiple suspected Sasquatch at this location.
Where is this again?
Michigan?
This is in Michigan. Yeah.
Oh man.
And I've listened to the recordings on there. I've listened to people might say it's owl or a coyote or wolf, and I listened to all those recordings, and it doesn't sound like any of those. It's something completely different.
They've been known to make those noises, like an owl. Even though it doesn't sound like the owl perfectly like an owl, it'll be an owl noise,
Yeah, and it also says that they've been mimicking the animals in the forest, too.
Right, yeah. They even mimic us. Or like they talk to us when we're walking down there. The last time we were there, he was like...
They'll whistle back at you?
Yeah, whistle back and talking and stuff.
Very cool. All right, now what about this FLIR business?
All right, there's a new FLIR camera coming out for the iPhone 5 and the 5S.
I knew it.
And
Okay.
we've talked about it before, but now there's more information and the release date, or close to a release date. It's coming out at the end of June. It's called the FLIR 1, and it's not an app. It's something that kind of like a protective case. It's in two parts, one in the front, one in the back.
Okay.
It goes over your iPhone. It's supposed to be a small, low-cost thermal imager. Some sites are saying that it's going to be $499, but I went on the FLIR.com website, and it says it'll be available for far less than $350.
I'm buying one.
Oh, man.
I'm buying one.
My birthday
Yep,
is
so
in June.
it's also going to be available later this year for Android models.
Okay. Well, Dan, you keep me updated on when it's coming out because I'm going to go buy one. What cell phone do you have?
I have an iPhone 4, so I'll have to upgrade.
Have to
before I
upgrade.
get
Yeah,
this.
I got a 5. So.
So everything around you either emits or reflects heat energy. So with the thermal imaging, it makes the invisible world of heat visible to your eyes. The visible light doesn't affect the thermal world, so you can go day or night. The TV shows, they show them using it at night.
Uh-huh.
You can use this day or night. Thermal imagers you can use day or night. But so for some reason, they make you believe on TV that you can only use them at night.
Wow.
So it'll allow you to compare relative temperatures. You can see through smoke. You can even see through some materials like sheetrock. It'll also be able to capture still images and videos.
Whoa.
And those videos and the pictures that you can capture on this can easily be shared on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram.
When is this coming out again?
It's late June.
June, that's just right around the corner. That's next
Yeah,
month.
and then
I am
later
so
in
there.
the year for Android.
Okay. Well, as soon
There's
as
also a battery-powered device that has 2 hours of continuous use for this.
I got to get that then too. All right.
This thing for the FLIR camera, and you
Just
can also
don't-
configure it so
just
that
don't
it can make
use
your
it
iPhone
until-
battery last 50% longer.
Okay.
Just don't use it till you know
it's only
something's
3.2
there.
ounces.
Right.
Yeah.
And what is so? Is it? Can you zoom in on it? I mean, is it like?
I looked everywhere to see how far it'll actually go. And
Okay.
Nowhere did it say, but it shows like somebody looking at a house from the street, and you can see the whole house on there, and the areas where the air is leaking in.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
having air leaks and stuff. But you can
And-
see through walls. You can find ceiling joists in your house, wall studs. You can look for leaking pipes. You can look through the wall and see which pipes are hot and cold.
Okay.
You can spot overloaded circuits.
So people, this application for this particular app or for your iPhone is not meant to go look for Bigfoot. All right.
No.
This is something
But
that
nothing is.
Yeah,
We
nothing
all
is right.
modify it.
Exactly. I mean, the police officers have the high-end FLIR cameras that cost $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000.
$35,000.
Yeah, a lot of money. And then they have smaller ones, and they're built for electricians, for contractors, for people who who put up windows in homes that where they try to find leakage of heat or cold. That they use these FLIR devices to locate the locations where there's heat coming in certain corners of the room or cracks in the window, and that's what these are for.
I sent you the pictures too. They're up on the Art Bell website, but I don't think you have them up.
Oh no, I didn't see those rats.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna have to go to artbell.com and look at some
It shows
pictures
you what it looks like.
and see what it looks like, because I don't have them here. So everybody go to artbell.com and break down the website right now. Okay. So, all right. Well, that's cool. Well, I tell you right now, as soon as it comes out next month, I am getting it, because that means when we go up to the mountains, we can go ahead and literally start walking on the dirt road at nighttime, and I can just, move this thing around.
Day or night.
Yeah. And nighttime, because, we'll be able to.
When we did that night walk.
Yeah, the night walks. I mean, I'll just be able to move this left and right, man. And that's it.
Yep, it won't be available in time for the memorial trip, but
That's okay.
it'll be
Yeah.
after the whole year.
Right. Oh, big time. Okay. Well, it looks like we're going to be spending some nights up there many times. Because I know with this, dude, we need a $10,000 one, or the
Right.
$6,000
Like
one
the one
would suffice.
We actually played with these when you were doing chasing UFOs with Nat Geo. They brought the FLIR truck.
Right.
And that guy came out with all these toys.
See, I
right?
wasn't there at that time. So.
Oh man, and we were out there, and he gave everybody one, and they're awesome. I mean, you can see details.
Okay. Well, you know what I need to do is call FLIR. That's what
I
need to do.
thought about that.
I contacted FLIR, and they haven't got back to me. So maybe they just lost my phone number or something. But I got to get back to them now.
Maybe if we send them some regular video that we get, or audios, maybe they'll send us.
Maybe in the predicament that we're at right now, maybe they will definitely consider us now because of where we're at and what we're doing. And because if something does happen here pretty soon and they're with us, then they're going to get the exposure then they're looking for.
I would love to put them on my
website.
Yeah.
So,
right on. Be our sponsor.
All right. Well, Danny, you definitely let me know when these things are on sale so I can get one.
Yep, I'll let you know.
All right. All right. What else,
on,
man?
Danny. That was
That's cool.
it. I just read on a bunch of the groups pages that everybody was going out this weekend for the first time, so there should be plenty of reports by next week.
Oh, okay. Now, what's this thing with Giorgio? I thought, Giorgio is now out with Jeff Meldrum and the Olympia Project. Is that right?
Yeah, the Olympic. I think that's with Kevin Randalls.
Okay.
Or one of the Randalls. It sounds like a new TV show. Sounds like he's done with the Ancient Aliens probably, and he's looking into a new type of TV show, and he's got Meldrum involved too.
You know why?
Like they were out in the Olympic forest.
You know why?
Because
what's his name? Les Stroud.
Oh.
That guy got 5 times the ratings, right? Is that
was 5 times? Yep.
5 times the ratings on his Bigfoot Man series.
Yep.
So that all the TV guys are like, "Whoa, Bigfoot's hot. Let's go do this." You know?
Well, that's
and they've also ordered more episodes for him.
Cool.
For Les
Stroud.
Wow. God. come on, let's hurry up and get
Well,
this
we do
thing going.
Bigfoot. Everybody out there that's listening, we do lots of Bigfoot.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
we do. So,
And
right
for
on.
longer than these guys usually, for
Yeah.
reals.
So, okay, right on. All right, Danny, thank you very much.
All right.
And keep me in the loop like always during the week, and don't kill anybody.
Looking forward to Memorial Day, man.
Yep. All right, we'll see you guys.
Okay, thanks,
See you,
Danny.
Bye, guys.
Bye. All right, that was Danny Valderrama and on the Squatch Report, and he's a good friend of ours. He became part of the team a couple years ago, right? 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, I think.
Yeah, like 4 years ago.
Yeah, 4 years ago. So, okay, now we're going to get Kathy Strain on the phone. For all those who don't know who she is, Monsters and Mysteries episode that we were on, she is the one in there who basically they go and speak to her because she has all the info that on Native Americans and Bigfoot and Thule Reservation and all that. So we're going to get her on the phone. Emerald is talking to her right now, and she is putting her on. Hello, Kathy.
Hello.
Hi, this is Jeffrey and Ellen.
Hi.
How's it going?
Hi to both of you. I'm
Hell.
doing good.
Good. Boy, we've been wanting to get you on for a long time.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, well, I'm glad I could be on today.
Right on. So, okay, well, you know what? Ellen is the one who's been going back and forth with you on Facebook. And, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about you. Why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and let everybody know exactly who you are, what you do, and go from there?
Okay. I have a bachelor's degree and master's degree in anthropology. I've been a professional archaeologist since, oh my gosh, I probably shouldn't say. I mean,
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you
now
should.
you think about it, more than 25 years, let me put it that way.
Okay, awesome.
And, I'm sorry?
No, that's awesome. Go for it.
Oh, yeah. And currently I'm the Heritage Resource Program Manager and Tribal Relations Program Manager for the Stanislaus National Forest. And that's just a fancy term that I'm in charge. I'm the head archaeologist and head tribal relations person.
Right on.
Yeah, and
That's
I've been here about
fun.
15 years.
You get to hang out with all the Native Americans. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Oh, yeah. I get to go in the field a lot with them, so it's a lot of fun.
That is
Yeah.
cool. So you're based out of here in the Sierras then?
Yes. Yes, I'm in Sonora, California.
Sonora, California. And you live in Porterville, right?
No,
Oh.
I was born and raised in Porterville.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so but my family still lives there, but I've lived here in Sonora for a long time.
Okay.
So we're not that far apart. You're in Clovis?
Right. We're in
Yeah.
Fresno. Yeah.
You're about an hour and a half from us.
Right on.
Not far.
Okay. Well,
So
I
you're,
mean,
like, by Black Oak Casino, somewhere over there, right?
I don't think you should talk louder. I don't think
Oh, you're over by Black Oak Casino. Is that like by
Oh.
you?
Oh, yeah.
Black-
I'm by, hold on, my cell phone just went off for some reason. Yes, I'm by,
it's a government.
by Black Oak, if that's what you're familiar with. Yeah, the
Okay.
town of Sonora.
Right
Yeah,
on. Right on.
cool.
So, okay. Well, let's talk about since you work for, I guess, the Department of Forestry or you work for the government, right?
Yes, I work for the U.S.
The U.S.
government.
Okay. And you basically are in charge of keeping track or keeping the Native American, all of the ruins that are out there. Make sure that what?
Well, we don't have anything like ruins because we those usually associated with. Hold on just a moment.
Nope.
We're having a phone issue here, but I can't hear you.
Okay.
Oh, goodness, my children. I'm in charge of all the archaeological sites that are like lithic scatters, bedrock mortars, historic sites like railroad grades, trestles, old logging camps, that type of thing. So, but not like ruins like what you would see like in the
Oh,
Southwest.
got
There's
it.
no pueblos or anything like that.
Okay, got it. How did you now? I guess because you've worked with the Native Americans all these years, that you have come accustomed and got close enough to them that they were able now to really tell you some secrets, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I worked. When I first started in archaeology, I was the archaeologist out of Porterville, California, and I did the archaeology work for the local tribe there because they didn't have somebody that could handle the archaeology. And so I got really close with the Tule River, or also known as the Yokin Indians that live on the reservation there. And it was through that type of relationship initially where I got close with the elders, and my oldest son at the time was just this little baby, and they just fawned all over him all the time. And so we used to have a lot of potlucks and, what we would call consultation meetings, but it was more fun than it was really, talking anything serious. And it was through that first initial contact that the tribal elders told me quite a few Bigfoot stories. And, and the hairy man pictographs, of course, are located on that reservation. And so it was that kind of, I always liked Bigfoot, but I didn't know there was a connection between Native people and Bigfoot until that moment, where it dawned on me, that they have a very close relationship with this creature. And so just through that, over time, then I've gotten to know lots of tribal people, lots of communities, lots of tribes, and traditional practitioners and basket weavers and all that have told me, not secrets, but their traditions, in order for me to better understand that type of relationship.
Yeah, that's all. In fact, they're dying off. The basket weaving and some of the old stories and stuff like that, they're being lost because the culture is, all the young people aren't really interested. They
Right.
start to get interested, but by the time they do, sometimes the elders are gone.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now,
And we've lost a lot of them.
Yeah, we have.
Last year has been pretty bad.
Yeah. You are now, since you're into Bigfoot, since you are up in the mountains a lot, and I'm sure you hear stories. I don't know how many stories, or if you can tell us any of the good stories. But Bigfoot, Sasquatch, Yeti, the Native Americans do definitely tell about that. Do they tell about any other creatures that you are aware of?
Well, they talk about deer, and they talk about eagle and condor and all that as well. The only other cryptid, as you would use that term, that they talk about is something called a water baby, and that's always associated with springs and perennial water sources and that type of thing. And I haven't really figured that one out so much yet. I know I've been in the field with them many times where an elder will say, "Do you hear that?" And I'll stop and listen, and you can hear something that sounds like maybe a child laughing or something to that effect, but it'd be really super faint, and you can't tell which direction it's coming from. And they'll say, "Well, that's what a water baby, that you just heard a water baby." And that's happened several times, but I haven't really gotten my arms around the concept of what it is that it is.
Huh.
If that makes sense.
Emerald said a Wendigo?
Yeah, what about Wendigos or something like that?
What about the Wendigo? Well, Wendigo would be, it's not a Sierra story, that would be back there in Great Lakes type area, and that's a lot of tribes, it's kind of like a skinwalker type story, that if you, a Bigfoot to them, a Wendigo was a person who did bad things, and that was his penalty, is that his body and spirit now change into this Wendigo. And I have always felt that those are Bigfoot related because of all the, and just to clarify things, a lot of people will say, well, when you talk to or you read a story today, that doesn't sound like a Bigfoot. And it's the description of the animal. You have to go back layers of stories behind it, back into the old times, to get the original description, because, of course, things do change over time, but also Native Americans, when they tell stories, they're continuous stories. And so the very first time a story is told, that's where you get the descriptions, the details and all that stuff that you would associate with Bigfoot. And then the next time they tell the story, then it's something else that's happened, and they don't repeat the attributes that they would have started in the very first story. Does that make sense? It's like picking up a book, and once you read page 1, you don't retell page 1. Now you're on page 2, and then you're on page 3. And you have to look at stories in that context. You have to go back to page 1 to see what that description is. And Wendigos definitely 100% match that Bigfoot description starting on page 1.
Wow.
That's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, you know what's cool? We were at we did the Finding Bigfoot at Thule Res. And I was able to get them down in there and, do the smudging and tobacco offering and everything to get so that they could see the painted hairy man. But one of the tribal members, one of the elders, was sitting there, and they had cleared a road. They said, I guess it was like 5 miles away, and they found dinosaur eggs. They said they were finding dinosaur eggs, that the bulldozer bulldozed into a dinosaur nest. And they said when it hit the eggs a couple of them broke open, and they said it smelled like rotten eggs, and I was like, how could it smell? I'm thinking, how could it even have a smell? But they were adamant that especially after a rain, it really would smell over there. And I thought that was so interesting.
a wet Bigfoot.
But they don't let a lot of people go in there, so you can't, you know what I mean? I was like, hey, can you show me that? And maybe.
Now,
because I'd like to see that.
Yeah, Kathy, you were at the actual the paintings of the wall or the rock. How long ago were you there?
Well, when I was the the archaeologist for the tribe, that would have been in 1990 to 1994, I guess.
Okay.
And then, and I haven't been back probably. I was trying to calculate that. I know when I got back into California, I was able to see it. I have a lot of friends on that tribe, Shannon Alto and JR and everything. Mm-hmm. And I think, so I'm guessing somewhere around 11, 12, 13 something years ago is the last time I saw them.
Okay. Right on.
You should go camping with it. We'll try to get you camping with us. They take us all the way back by Chololo.
Oh, uh-huh.
By the falls back there, and we camp and have a really good old time in these old ancient oaks and everything. It's really cool.
It's cool, and some Bigfoot apparently came across, or actually around our campsite that one night while we were there. So yeah, I think it's time for you to go back there. What do you think?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd love to show it to my husband because it's been a big part of. Just as when I was a little girl, why I believed in Bigfoot was because of Legend of Boggy Creek that kind of made me who I am. That painting really shaped me into being what I now am. And so it would be nice for my husband to share that and get a chance to see it.
Right now I have the cover of your book on the screen right now, and everybody's looking at it. You wrote a book called Giants, Cannibals, and Monsters. Bigfoot.
I love the cannibal part. That's the story I got told.
Right?
Yeah, more than once, too.
So you obviously, in order to write this book, you definitely had to have heard some stories.
Oh yeah, and I talked to a lot of tribes, and a lot of these, some have never been published, some just weren't recognized for what they were, but it's just a collection of, one of the things I absolutely hate, like when some people, they'll cite, well, this tribe believes in Bigfoot, and they'll give you like 2 lines of the story, and you don't have the full context of what that story is about, or, what is the story being told. And so these stories are all presented as is, so I don't cut out just the Bigfoot part. It's the full story and what it means something to the tribe itself. And it goes from all the way from Alaska through Canada, all through the United States, and then I just, stopped it at the border with Mexico. And it's based on cultural areas, so you'll have all the California stories grouped together, all the Pacific Northwest stories grouped together, so you can see different tribes in those groups and how they dealt with the subject.
Wow.
And really, it was quite a lot of stories from the South, which is pretty surprising. But there's a big hole in the Midwest for sure, where there was no information, nothing.
Why do you think? Why do you think that?
Well, I think it has a lot to do with the fact that tribes were moved around a lot, and they lost that connection. So they lost that history, like the Trail of Tears and all that. When you move tribes from their traditional area, that's when you start losing a lot of information.
Okay. Now, you were on the episode of Monsters and Mysteries that we were on.
Yeah.
Now,
that was so cool.
Yeah. Now the Thule.
Surprised me.
Yeah, the Thule River. the gnome. Okay, what can you tell us about the gnome and the Tule River itself? Supposedly, the Tule River has a lot of stuff going on it. What's up with
the
that?
Water babies.
Well, and yeah, obviously I grew up in Porterville, and I know the Tule River very, very well. When it used to have water in it, I don't know when the last time it did.
Right.
We used it for kayaking and stuff like that and stuff. I was really kind of surprised by that. I just happened to mention something about Porterville when we were filming that in Clovis, and she was like, "Oh, well, that's where we're on our way down to Porterville." And I assumed they were going to maybe film the pictographs. I hadn't thought of anything else. And she goes, "No, there's this lady who says that she had this gnome visiting her, and the lady who owned the house prior to that, they got in touch with each other, and she said the same thing." And I said, "Wow!" And I said, "That's unusual." And when she was telling me, at first I said, "Well, the Tule Indians have lots of stories about the Tule River. That's a water baby story as well that's associated with that river, plus some other stories that go with it." And so I had made the assumption that they were just wrongly using the term gnome, And I asked her point blank, I said, "Are they saying these little creatures are wearing clothes?" And she said yes. And that's what kind of did it in for me, in the sense of if you're a monster, why do you bother wearing clothes? And where do you get little baby pants? So it was just a little too much. So they asked me to just, say a few words about water babies as a possible connection to what maybe they were really seeing, or what their experience had been, versus literally a gnome.
Okay. Well, don't you think it's odd that, the previous renter of that house also had the same thing happen as Tammy?
Yeah, it was very odd. I don't doubt that she didn't have something that happened to her that was traumatic, because if it happened to both,
right.
That's the only conclusion you can have happen, because obviously it's not hoax, or both of them aren't lying. The question then becomes is, what is it that
they saw?
Seeing?
Right.
And your mind can only put things in context of what it is that you understand. So I used to, well, I still do. I talk to a lot of witnesses, and this one lady, the best she could describe the Bigfoot sighting that she had was those bears that ride the bicycles at circuses. And she kept using that term because she didn't know what a Bigfoot was, and so had no other way of describing that event to somebody. And so that may very be what this is. It's can't be the little gnome guy who's Travelocity. I mean, they just they don't exist.
Right.
So she had something else happening to them, and that was the best way they knew how to describe it. And so we should be very careful taking oddities like that and making them literal. I'm sure it was something. It just probably wasn't a gnome.
Well, then what do you think she saw?
Well, it's hard to describe. I wish they had gone, a little deeper into it. They didn't spend as much time on it as I wish they had of.
Uh-huh.
But, it could have been just an evil spirit. It could have just been something.
That's what I think too.
Evil,
Right.
But I'm very sure that gnomes don't exist, so
Okay.
I know it wasn't that.
Okay.
So it had to be something else.
Well, now the water babies, are they evil too? Aren't they, like, to get you? They like.
I think they can be either.
Yeah,
So
they're
just like a Bigfoot. A Bigfoot can be bad. He can be the cannibal, or he can just be a giant.
Okay, but
it's the personality.
You guys are saying water babies. Describe to me this creature or whatever you're talking about in detail. And when you say a water baby, I'm thinking of a baby in the water.
That's actually how they got the story.
It depends on which tribe you talk to.
Mm-hmm.
But the water babies, like up here in Miwok country, are more gentle fairies type thing. They're small children. They don't wear any clothes, but they're not sexual in the sense of they're neither male nor female. They're non-gendered. They have very smooth white skin. I think they shimmer a little bit in the sunlight. And usually they'll have long, dark hair, just like Native Americans would have hair like that. And so you kind of always feel like it's a female, but they don't have any other outside the hair aspect of being that.
You
that
know,
way.
what you're describing to me sounds like an alien.
Well,
gray.
these things live in the water,
Yeah.
and they are the guardians of the water. So if the water baby ceases to exist, then all clean water will go away. That makes sense?
They have
They're
a lot
the
of-
protectors of water.
Okay.
They
so,
don't have those. They don't have those backies.
My understanding is that they can get out of the water and move away from the water, but mostly they're always tied to that water. So they couldn't go a mile down away from their original creek or stream that they're protecting.
Okay. And they are protecting the creek from bad people?
Pollution, bad people,
Okay.
misuse of the water.
And
Consider that to be evil.
And if somebody is doing something bad to the creek or whatever water it's protecting, what does it do?
That's when they get mad and evil, and they can lash out. And I asked specifically an elder about, have they been known to kill people? And the answer is always they don't kill you, but they do make your life a living hell for doing what you did to the water.
Wow.
Or wasting it, or whatever it is that you did.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a new one. I've never heard that. I mean, I've heard of water babies, but didn't know the exact, detail in what they were the protectors of, or protectors, period. That's wow. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Now, the Thule Reservation, Tammy was on our show a couple of weeks ago, and she was telling us, about her story again in more detail. And I asked her, the gnome that they recreated for that episode, I go, how close did it come to what you saw? And she said that it was like almost dead on. And what's that about? So it was kind of eerie. Now, she was at a store, and she was spotted by somebody who saw her on that episode, and they told her, this guy told her that let's see, the guy whose name is Richard told her that his brother, who is homeless, lives down there with a bunch of other homeless people, and they've seen some crazy stuff down there, and they've also said that about 6 or 7 people are murdered down there every year. And he is like, and he thinks there's something definitely going on down there, and it's definitely close to where Tammy used to live. So we're thinking about going down there and talking to the homeless and finding out what's going on. And it could very well be drugs, overdose on drugs, because it's homeless, and but we don't know yet. So we're going to go out there and take a look at what's going on. Now, the Thule River, that actually comes from all the way up to the top of the mountain through the reservation, right? And it goes through Porterville. How far does it go?
Well, I don't know its exact headwaters, but its headwaters is somewhere on the national forest, so it would be above the reservation. The reservation's only at Springville level, and so I'm very sure that river starts. I should know this. I was an archaeologist for him forever. I would say it's above Camp Nelson. It goes pretty high, and it goes then down through the reservation. Well, it skirts the reservation. Oh, the reservation, I guess, it does have a part of it that goes through them. And then it comes down to Lake Success, which is the reservoir. And then, depending on if they release any water, and I haven't been as familiar with that in the most recent years, every time I've seen the Thule cross on the Highway 65, it's been dry. So it doesn't look like Lake Success is letting any of that water go downstream, but I could be wrong, or it doesn't make it as far down as you think it would make.
Okay.
And so, but it used to then flow down into the valley. Well, of course, that was the valley, but further down into the valley, and then it would hook up with other rivers, and then it would then flow into Sacramento, the Sacramento River. So it's a very good sized river, and the tribes used to live all along it. There's arc sites all the way up and down that river because it provided so much life. And I believe the area where she used to live, and the area that I was familiar and told where it was, but today it's not been a very good area. It's kind of, as my parents called it, a mess area now, Porterville. So it's not probably the greatest spot on earth. So it wouldn't surprise me that you had unfortunate, homeless dying from some disease or
bad
drug
people.
overdose. You know,
Right.
So be very careful when you're in that area.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, all right, I'm looking at the cover of your book, and the word monsters is getting my attention. When you say monsters, what are you really talking about when you say monsters?
I'm just talking about the cannibals are the ones that are the really bad, that are eating the children type stories, and the monster is one that is just mean. Just it's just a bad Bigfoot with a bad attitude, but isn't necessarily eating kids. And so in this area of Miwok, because I'm the most familiar, they have that it has an appendix at the back of the book that will tell you all the Native American words that tribes have for Bigfoot, plus what it is then means in English. And the Miwok have, I don't know, somewhere around 12 different individual names, and the traditional name is Yayali, but then they named ones that had bad attitudes. You know, they basically said, that one is named, I'm just going to make this up, Bob. I probably shouldn't use Bob. It'll get me in trouble. How about Larry? Larry, that Bigfoot over there is named Larry because he's got a bad attitude and you want to stay away from him at all costs. But this one over here is named Sally, who's a nice Bigfoot, and that's what her name means to the Miwok. And so that's what monsters mean, is that they're not necessarily eating children like the cannibals, but they're not ones you want to hang around with.
Okay, so Alan has told us, because he's been told by friends of his up in the reservations, that these cannibals, Bigfoot, did steal the babies or the children from the Native Americans and did eat them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Correct. There's a lot of tribes who have those stories.
Yeah, a lot.
A lot, huh?
Yeah, it's not just one. That's why I said I've been told that more than once, and I don't know if you get it, but hanging with all these Bigfoot, people, they think they know everything, and they're like, oh yeah, they're nice, and they just walk away from you, and we go and welcome them, and I'm like, man, you guys really, you don't know what you're messing with, really. They have no idea. They're going by what, they saw one once and it walked away, and that's it. That's all they know, Really, they...
Yeah, no. I'm really super against this, whatever started it, I can't tell you, but we're trying to make Bigfoot into a Disney character where you can, he's my friend, he's my forest friend, and you know what? That's such a dangerous thing to be saying, because they're not your friend in any way, shape, or form. They're an animal. Regardless of if you think they're part human or whatever, they're still an animal. And to be dumb enough to think that you can go up and pet something or be friends with even a deer will kick you.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous, and I wish we would stop doing it. But yeah, there are stories of friendly or not friendly, but good Bigfoots, just like the hairy man and the Thule. He was a good Bigfoot that cared for the people and wanted what was best for them. And there are stories of that, but the vast majority are not. The interactions are never good.
Okay, now the stories that you got were from Native Americans from years and years and years ago. There are a lot of people going missing in your area of the woods, Kathy. Can you explain that to me?
Well, we do have a lady who's missing right now, who is the ex-wife of a good friend of mine, Jeff Tolhurst. Her name's Patty Tolhurst, and they found her car abandoned at what we call the Donnell Vista Overlook, and it's a parking lot with a bathroom, and then you have this short little trail where you can look down onto Donnell Lake from up high. It's along Highway 108, and there's no trace. We don't have any clue at all, and it's not a place where if you could accidentally fall and die or anything like that. It's a very safe location. And about, I'm going to say 5 years ago, we had another lady go missing from the exact same spot, and that's where they found her car. It looks like all their stuff is in the car, so they didn't take it out to go do whatever they were doing.
Where is this place at?
It's on Highway 108, past Strawberry, California. So you just stay on Highway 108, you will pass through Sonoria, pass through a bunch of little other little towns, and then go past Strawberry, and it's pretty easy to find.
Okay, so basically then what you're saying is more than one person have disappeared at this location up in the Sierra Mountains, Sonora, in that area.
Correct.
And have you ever heard of author David Paulides, The Missing 411?
Oh, yeah, I know him really
Okay,
well.
awesome. All right. Do you think there's any correlation with what we are talking about today and the missing people?
I wouldn't think so. This is more dastardly, I think, than that. I think I don't think a Bigfoot would be responsible for this. That's not the spot that I would be waiting for a woman by herself getting out to use the bathroom and then snatching her. There isn't in my mind, a good place for him to get back across the highway and into the trees. I would expect that deeper into the forested area.
Okay.
I mean, this area is forested, of course, but you know what I mean, looking
Right.
for a lone hiker rather than the chance that somebody would stop there.
Okay. I mean, the story that I've heard coming out of Yosemite and the Sierras, every year, and I'm sure you notice and you hear because you have the connections, hikers go missing all the time. And yes, there are deep forests. People go out hiking by themselves. But a lot of times there are 2, 3, 4 people who go hiking and all of a sudden one disappears and they have no clue what happened to that person. They never find them again. I have the 2 books on Missing 411. I've gone through them. Alan has had actually a friend disappear who's in one of those books, and he was part of the 144th Fighter Wing here in the National Guard many years ago. And, a gentleman like that who is like, 6'5", probably 300 pounds, all muscle, going up to fishing, and all of a sudden they find his car and his valuables, and all of a sudden he's gone, and they go searching for him and they never find him. This is happening all the time, and we hear this on the news all the time. Sometimes we say, okay, they found the person, but otherwise you hear of this hiker's gone missing, and that is it. We don't hear anything else from this case, and this is a constant. Why is that? Why is the Sierra swallowing all these people, Kathy?
Well, I think the easiest answer is that there are people who just don't have very good experience. I mean, they're not knowledgeable of what it takes to be a hiker. They don't know how to use a compass. They don't really know how to use a topo map. They don't really know how to use GPS. All these things that you have to have a skill. The mountains are not like driving to Disneyland. You don't get a maneuver around, to see different rides. It's a vast wilderness type area that you need some skills in order to maneuver. And it's not smart to, first of all, hike by yourself. That's not the most safe thing to do.
Right.
But yeah, there are lots of cases. I mean, we've had Boy Scouts that are in a large troop, and for whatever reason, one of the kids will go missing, and we don't find them at all. And is that a sense of something took him at the end of the line, or did he do something stupid, like go back to look for something and not know how to get back to his group, or what? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. But we do have people who have gone missing, and we have found them, and what their story is always boils down to they did something stupid. So,
okay,
like this one guy fell down. I don't remember now what he was doing, but he did something dumb, and he slid down off of the trail and broke both ankles. And he crawled his way out. What an amazing character he was. But, those are the types of things. When we find the missing people and they tell us, how come you went missing, is always something just dumb on their part that happened. Not that they were kidnapped by something and they got away from the animal and now they're going to safety. Okay. You've never heard that.
Well, we've never heard that only because we never find them to tell. Dead people don't tell, basically.
Les.
That's true, but we usually find the body at some point, and the coroner's office is able to tell that, well, this person obviously fell off the ledge and broke something, and he died here.
Right.
When we do find the body.
Right. That's when but there are still a lot of people do go missing, and they never find them again, which is very odd to me. I just find that really weird. And you're right. There are people up there who think they're all that, and they can go hiking by themselves, and they have no clue what they're doing. But I don't know. It's just very mysterious to me that there are a lot of people that go missing up right here near where we live. It's just very weird for me. So
I think the biggest one, like, that I know, like, I found a few, like, deer hunting I'm only like 15, and I would find these guys lost. They would have whistles. At least they had the mind to have a whistle, But they would go in, and they would never turn around and look back. Because it looks one way when you're going in, but only when you're coming back out, it doesn't look the same as when you're going in. Mm-hmm. So then when they turn around, then they're like, oh, no, where are we,
Right.
And I've even been with people and hiking along a trail, and we get, a couple miles down, and they're like, oh, my God, we're lost. It was like, for reals, we just turn around and hike the same trail back out. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, and most of the people that have gone missing that I'm aware of, they try to cross-country it.
Yeah.
They go off-trail, and then when you go off-trail, that's usually when you get in trouble.
Yeah.
So this isn't really the case that's on Highway 108. That's really not the same situations. These are something else happened. Either they, I hate to say it, killed themselves by somehow getting around the barriers and jumping off this cliff, but there's no evidence of that. They haven't found anything to indicate that, or maybe something else happened that would be more human related. And I hate either option.
Well, I mean, there are, people. What's the word I'm looking for? Jeffrey Dahmer type of people,
like that guy in Yosemite that took them girls.
Oh yeah,
remember that guy?
Steiner.
Yeah, Steiner.
So,
he dumped their stuff on our national forest too. That's where he
wow.
brought the mother and the one friend. When he disposed of the car with them in it, he chose our national forest to do that on. So we got caught up in it.
Now, since you are you're up in the mountains a lot, and you hear stories from the Native Americans, have you heard stories from your fellow forestry personnel of, let's say, because we are investigators here, Ellen, I, myself, Emerald, we investigate, Bigfoot, UFOs, spirits, ghosts, any sightings, any stories about lights in the skies from the Native Americans, any UFO reports from your fellow employees, anything like that you can you can tell us?
There actually is a pretty famous UFO place on us. It's been on Coast to Coast and several other places. It's by Beardsley Lake on Highway 108 as well. And I haven't been there, but they call it UFO Hill. That's its local name.
Dang, let's
I
go
don't
there.
know. I believe what they're seeing is lights and shapes and stuff like that, and it happens, I think, mostly in the summer. But I haven't really looked into that. And I have had employees that work for us have some interesting things happen, and they've come and told me about it. So we've had employees that have seen Bigfoot as well.
Oh, so. Okay. Well, see there. See how can you? Aren't you afraid of your? Because right now you're telling us that you do believe in Bigfoot, and you're telling us it exists. Okay, there are we have people who come up to us who work for the Department of Forestry, sheriff's officers. People who work for the United States government who are deadly scared to open up their mouths because they're afraid they're going to get fired. But here you wrote a book. You're telling us right now your employees, fellow friends, are coming up and telling you about Bigfoot stories. And they haven't said anything to you. And I'm hoping they're not going to, but how can you you follow me, Kathy?
Oh, you mean my boss?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it helps that I'm a damn good archaeologist and I do an outstanding job in everything that I do. I mean, my wall is
that's
filled
good.
with awards. But
Sweet.
no, I'm professional all the time, and I don't, I don't goof off on government time. I do my archaeology job on government time.
Okay.
And I'm I think, very well respected among my peers and fellow employees on my force, plus my other force as well. And I'm not just a believer in Bigfoot. I have personally seen Bigfoot, and so I don't mind sharing it.
Whoa, Alan, did you hear about this?
No, I didn't know.
Okay, this is first I've heard about this. All right, Kathy, spill it. Where? When?
Well, this what year is this? I'm sorry, I'm very overworked right now. We had the rim fire
Yeah, I was
happen
telling
last
him
summer,
about
and we're
that.
still sorting out all the mess, and so my brain sometimes forgets what year I'm at.
You
But
were
this would have been in 2012.
Whoa.
like
Yeah,
only a couple of years
2012.
ago.
Yeah. Sorry.
It was only a couple of years ago.
Yeah, just a couple of years. Well, I also saw something in 2013. So,
Oh, wow.
So in 2012.
You've been holding it back here, Kathy. You've been holding back here.
No, I've told this story many times.
Oh, my God. I want to hear it so bad. All right, spill it.
And it was in trying to make sure I remember that in May. It was back in Oklahoma in the area known as Area X that the NAWAC is known for. And they had invited my husband and I back there to basically look at what they were doing there and what they were accomplishing and you know, basically give them any kind of thoughts or ideas that we might have on what their operations were. And so we arrived on a Sunday, and on Monday, we were just doing some, I mean, I could tell you the long story or the short story. Which one you want?
Long story.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, long story. Okay.
The real deal.
Yeah, I want it
Real
all.
good.
I want,
Okay,
I want
this is the
details. I want details.
Okay. Well, we had, this was probably started around 5:30 or so, and it's still daylight. You know, I mean, obviously it's May, so we're having long summers. And they thought that they had heard a rock thrown on some aluminum. And so we were there with 5 people. There was 5 of us total. So 3 of them go down to investigate what they thought this was, and they radioed back and said, send Bob down as well. And so they did. And I decided just to stand in this area is in Oklahoma. If you know anything about Oklahoma, it's everything's trying to kill you at all times. You know, it's either the greenbrier that's catching your shoes or the snakes or everything. And so I decided
Poison
to
ivy.
Pardon?
Poison ivy. I mean, it's all
Oh.
over the place.
Everything. And so I'm standing in the only one clearing that there is, because this place is pretty dense with vegetation. And I decided, you know, that for safety's sake, that I should stay there and where I could see everything around me as opposed to letting something sneak up on me. And I noticed something black standing, or something black behind some bushes. And I was looking at it, and I saw the branch was let go of. So basically something had pushed the branch down and then gently let go of it to go back behind the bush. And I saw it very distinctly. And I was like, oh, crap, you know, there's maybe a Bigfoot in that bush. And so at that time then, I just stayed there, and then another rock gets thrown on some tin in another direction. They all come back and say, well, whatever it was, we didn't catch it. And I tell them what happened. And I said, there's something in this bush potentially. I said, I haven't seen anything leave, but I'm not entirely certain that it didn't leave, but can you check it? And they kind of just cursorily looked into it and said, no, there's nothing there. And I was like, wow, you know, how did that get away from me? You know, how did it leave? So I told them about the other rock that I had heard, and so they all leave. The 3 other people leave, and Bob stays with me, and I wait until they leave, and I say, Bob, can you really look into that bush over there? Or it's not a bush, it was a, you know, either a small tree, huge brush, something big could stand behind it easily. And so he walks over, and this is about, I'm going to say 20 yards from me, maybe, something like that. And so he sticks his head in there, and he looks in it really hard, and he turns and goes, honey, there's nothing in here but a couple of logs. And I said, oh, okay, well, you know, they got away from me. And so I was like a little depressed, you know, that you know, I wasn't observant enough to see it leave. So everybody comes back, and we decide to sit down in our chairs that are in front of this little cabin that we use. And I'm, myself, Bob, and our friend Brian are looking down this clearing area. And our other friend, Mark, is looking, sitting in front of his truck, I believe. But if he turned his head, he could look down the same clearing. And our other friend, I'll leave him nameless, was on the other side of that, and he couldn't have seen the clearing no matter what he did. So a few minutes later, we hadn't been sitting down 15 minutes, 10 minutes, we started hearing a sound, and we're like, what in the world is this sound? And Mark goes, well, it sounds like feet shuffling, like something's walking. And just as he said that, I looking down this clearing, there they are. There's two of them, a big one and a little one. And the big one, I mean big. They're all completely black.
Yeah.
And it looks behind the cabin and along this clearing is a very, very steep mountain. And so we can go up it, but, you can't walk it too easily. You got to be careful because of all the loose rocks and the greenbrier and everything that's there. And so what it looks like is they're walking right towards us. And it looks like the big one would start to go up that hill, but the little one wouldn't follow. And the little one's getting closer and closer to us. And so it's like I would equate it to being a frustrated mother trying to get her child to come along with this, and they won't go. And so they're doing this, and I jump up, and I say, there they are, and I run at them. And can't tell you what I was going to do if I caught them. But I ran at them. And right then, and the other three people, Bob, Mark, and Brian, all see the same thing and get up and follow me. And as I say that, those things went up that hillside. If I believed in ghosts, I would have told you they were ghosts. They went up that hillside like it wasn't even there. It was like they were pulled up with a bungee. That's how fast they were.
Wow.
And the second it happened, after they were out of our view, we all turned around to each other and went, oh, my God, did you see that? Did you see how fast they went up that hillside? Because it astonished all of us. And so after that, then I like to use the term messed with us. We had rocks thrown at us the rest of the night, and it was pretty horrifying. Not horrifying in the sense I wasn't scared, but it was more annoying because you couldn't get any rest.
Wow.
So then the next morning, Bob and everybody had gotten up. I was the last one to get up and get dressed and come out of the cabin. And the second I come out of the cabin, I could tell by the look on everybody's faces that something had happened. Something was wrong. And I was like, oh, crap, what's going on? And I said, Brian goes, Kathy, yesterday when Bob looked in the bush, what did he tell you? And I said, well, he said there's nothing there but a couple of logs. And they said, well, we went down there and looked. You want to guess how many logs are there? I said, none. The damn things had stayed in the bush. Oh. My husband had seen them laying on the ground, but because it was shadowy due to the angle of the sun, had assumed they were logs.
Oh, man.
I know.
See, and you know what? I call them ninjas all the time, and everybody laughs at me, and I go, they're forest ninjas. They're the apex predator. That's their backyard. Wow. They are good at hiding and disappearing, and they can run up a hill. Like I've heard them crash through the brush that I can't even walk through, and go through it in 17 seconds, go a quarter of a mile. And you're like, what the heck?
So after he found out that those were not logs and those were the actual Bigfoots, what did they tell you after that? What happened?
Well, it was just frustrating that here you were that close to them. I mean, he could have bent over and touched them.
Wow, or they could have touched
him. And so
him.
it's just kind of like, it was just one of those things we just never expected, and it's one of those hard lessons of don't assume something, but your eyes want to tell you you're looking at logs because maybe you don't really want to see the Bigfoot.
Right.
And that wasn't in his case at all. His mind told him he was looking at logs. And so anyway, that's my story.
That's a very cool story.
Like a
very
lot of
cool.
people that we talk to say that that's what they see first is like a stump.
Yeah.
Look, there's a stump. Everybody sees a stump. Then all of a sudden, the stump gets up and walks away.
Now, this happened in Oklahoma in 2012?
Yeah, in 2012.
Now, did you just say you had one in 2013 too happen?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Spill it.
I went back to that same area, and I spent the first time I spent a week there, and the second time I spent 3 weeks there in 2013. And so my husband did 3 weeks by himself. So I was there with other people, but my husband wasn't there. So we spent a combined 6 weeks in 2013 there. Because I'm an anthropologist, and it's a great opportunity to do observe behavior. And I was sitting on the back porch just at the right height, too. And it had to be any other angle. I'm sure I wouldn't have seen it. And I noticed in the same clearing, and other things happen in other pieces of the property. I mean, this clearing and me aren't, not the only time things happen. But I saw a branch in a tree start to, shake. And I was like, oh, I'm going to pay attention to this. And as I'm watching the branch shake, I see this animal. It looked like a chimp come out onto the end of the branch. So it wasn't, wasn't as large as an adult chimp. It would have been like a medium juvenile. I saw it bounce on purpose to get some torque, and it leapt across this clearing and jumped into another tree on the other side. And I said, this is what I just saw. And we ran down there as fast as we could, and I found the tree where the jump occurred. And then I located the tree that I felt it had jumped into, and you could see above in the higher branches that something was too heavy for the leap and had broken like 4 other limbs up higher than the one it would have probably landed on. But then I couldn't find it anymore after that. And then a couple days later, we saw something very similar again, and again didn't catch up to it.
So why are you guys in this area in the first place?
Well, this is a study area of the NAWAC, and they are a pro-science group, so meaning that their intent is to get a specimen. And so this property has been very productive in very close sightings, many sightings.
Okay, whoa, stop, Kathy. Okay, you say get a specimen of what?
Of a Bigfoot.
Woohoo! Okay, time out. Whoa.
We're in Oklahoma?
All right, now, wait. You're talking now, the Department of...
Now, this isn't related to my job.
It isn't, or it is?
It is not.
It is not.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I wanted to go. So these are just friends of yours who told you what's going on, and they wanted you to come down and...
Correct.
Still,
I'm
that's
very
amazing.
Good friends with, Alton Higgins, Brian Brown. You're familiar with those names?
Yeah, through
Okay.
Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, wow.
Where in Oklahoma is that?
I can't give you specifically where it is.
Yeah,
Right.
That's all right.
We don't want people anywhere near it.
Sure.
Right.
But yeah, it's in Oklahoma.
Wow, lucky you.
See, I have a bunch
Lucky
of
you.
relatives over there, and in the town they're in, all around there, they've been having sightings.
So what do you tell people right now who are listening who say Bigfoot is a hoax? There's no such thing.
Well, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely
They're
ridiculous.
obviously real animals that exist out there, and that's part of what the mission is about. Is we mess around all we want to with DNA and footprint evidence and bad photos or whatever, but in the end, science requires a specimen. That's the law of science. And so while we're messing around with all this other stuff, time is ticking. The habitat's being lost.
Need to catch that little one jumping out of the tree.
Now, again, I'm gonna get into it a little bit more here. When you say specimen, you're saying a body.
Yes, a body.
Okay. Now, how will you expect to get a body?
Well, you shoot it.
Okay. That's what I wanted you to say. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted you to say. And there are people who are totally against this, but you know what? We need a freaking body, Kathy.
Yes, we do.
We need a freaking body.
Hey, there's people against us going out there with a camera.
Bite me.
Yeah.
I mean, if we go up there, we're armed. And when you go up there, are you armed, Kathy?
Yes, I'm armed.
Okay, awesome. We're armed. And if I tell you right now, people could be pissed off at me. I don't care. But, like you said, these things are dangerous. There's stupid people who go up there with freaking apples and tuna. And they go up there to see if they can get close to these things. They're out of their freaking mind.
Well, we go with apples and tuna.
but we go with
also
machine
have a
guns.
44 Magnum.
And, so I know exactly where you're going. You know what? I like you, Kathy.
Oh, well, thank you.
You got a good head on your shoulders, and you're smart, and now I know why you're at the position you're at, because you're thinking. And
She's really fun, too. We got to hang out up at Felton that one day, and it was pretty fun.
So that's awesome. Well,
I remember with Jeffrey Meldrum, and everybody was there. It was really fun.
Yeah. Right. We need a body. Someone needs to shoot one. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what happens? Now, check it out. What happens if we get a body, and let's say let's say I'm just going to say Yosemite or Sierra. Somebody shoots a body. We bring it down. It finally gets out in the media. The Bigfoots do exist. Will the government all of a sudden shut down? I mean, what will they do? I mean, in your mind, what will the government do once we prove that the Bigfoot exist?
Well, no, they're not going to shut the forest down. I mean, we didn't shut down the forest for the spotted owl. We may do things a little differently, but no, you don't shut down national forests that belong to the public.
Okay.
That's the public's land.
That's what I keep
And
saying.
so what would likely happen, what should happen, is then U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, who's in charge of all threatened and endangered species, would, obviously there would be a law passed that they could, no other further Bigfoots could be killed until we do studies in order to document how much habitat they need to exist, what are their breeding cycles, all those things that we need to do for threatened and rare species. And then they'll make a determination from there of how national forests or parks or state lands are to be managed in order to protect the species as a whole. And that's the goal. I mean, that's the point of conservation of a species, is to give them whatever it is that they need in order to have a viable breeding population.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Evolution Valley?
Evolution Valley. Yeah, that sounds very familiar.
It's out by Sequoia or something like that. But I've heard that the Forest Service already knows that they're over
that's
there.
That's where I was going with this.
And they have cameras and film and everything of them, doing their daily life and swimming in the river and bathing and eating and washing their food. And that's what I heard.
Yeah,
anyways.
Kathy, I believe our government already know they exist. All right. And I don't know how you feel about this, but I believe they do. They know they're up there. They know they're everywhere. Why are they not coming out and telling us that they do exist?
Well, I don't know that the government knows that. I mean, having worked in the United States Forest Service for as long as I have, I can tell you one thing right now. We are horrible at keeping information secret. It's almost impossible to do so. And so I don't see how they could keep a secret like that for any amount of time, because, it just is the way life is. Emails accidentally get sent. You hear some conversation in the hallway, that type of thing. And we're just not good at it.
But we've heard
we did know that, I don't know what the purpose would be keeping it a secret, because eventually something is going to get hit by a car or a body's going to be brought in. And, so what would be their goal? I don't know what it would be.
Or Justin Smeeha might shoot another one.
Well, okay, then what are these things? Where do they come from? How long have they been here? Are they part human? I mean, obviously we don't know that because we haven't found a body. But what do you think? Is it a mutant of some type? Because obviously there's just not one Bigfoot. There are Bigfoots. There are families. There's different colors, different shapes, different sizes. They're all over the place.
Well, even better is like what... I mean, she's talks to the Native Americans.
Uh-huh.
They pretty much know what they are. I mean, they tell you they're people. That's what they say. They're people.
They do believe. Well, and again, it goes back to that association of you can only know what you're exposed to. You don't create your own science necessarily, so you associate something you don't know with something you do know. And since Bigfoot's the only thing that also walks bipedally, and me as a Native American person coming into contact with the only other bipedal, I would naturally assume that you're one of us in some form. And so that never surprises me when they refer to them as their brother or as people.
Yeah,
but
they call them
what
ancient
we do know enough of is that they didn't evolve here. There's no fossil remains to suggest that they did. So they must have crossed the Bering Land Bridge at the same time or sooner or later that Native people did, and then they reacted the same way Native people did as well. Once they entered into the New World, they then spread across the United States and found their niches of where they could live and produce a population. And so, are they human? No, I don't think we're human. I mean, I don't think they're human. Human has more connotations to it than just what our DNA says. It has a cultural aspect that makes us who we are. And nothing I've seen tells me that Bigfoot has a culture as equivalent to ours, or even a primitive version of ours. So is he closely related? Likely, very closely related. How close? I can't tell you. I don't know.
Wow. I know they're good in the woods, though. Better than me.
This is an awesome show today.
Yeah, it is. Very interesting.
Thank you, Kathy. I really enjoyed you being on the show today. I think you basically blew a lot of people out of the water tonight. There's a lot of people scratching their heads out there, and that's what we're all about here. We're about, giving people the real thing. I mean, your credentials is where I was hoping that the people, that they're realizing we don't have your Joe Blow right now on the phone. Okay, we have somebody who has credentials. The credibility is way up there. And you, by telling us what you have seen and what you know to be fact, and I'm hoping that on its own is going to basically open up a lot of people's eyes and their minds out there, because a lot of people don't believe in the stuff we talk about here. And they have to understand there's a whole new world out there that we don't even know about. And I appreciate you coming out and just telling us, your stories, because it's awesome, man. I got goosebumps when you were telling us the stories about Oklahoma. Serious, I did.
I'm glad that she is not the go out in the woods and sit and play a flute and hey, come over here and sit by the campfire and eat marshmallows with me type person.
No, that's stupid.
I worry about those guys really bad.
I do too. I mean, that's really a dangerous. But again, it's those people who have whatever need to make Bigfoot into being like Bambi. I mean, I don't understand it. I just feel like they don't have a lot of experience, or the people who believe that Bigfoot talks to them in their head. I mean, it's just not logical why they would even go there. But I want to add a point that I am about science. It comes down to science.
Yes, absolutely.
And if I felt it was unethical or immoral to have one specimen, then I would be against it. But it's not unethical. It is actually the best thing for that species is to have that one specimen that everybody can study for years and years and years. No other one needs to be taken, but that way we can protect them, because in the end, they need protection from us.
They will.
We're the ones that are building roads in their habitat. We're the ones doing all this stuff. And if we need to stop doing that, then you need to know.
Well, technology, I mean, so far I think they're going to be okay, but technology is catching up with them. I mean, we were just talking about the FLIR right before we called you up, where you could look at them through heat during the day or the night, so technology is catching up. It won't be long, and they aren't going to be able to hide as good as they could now. We'll be able to find them anytime we want.
Well, now, for example, where you were at in Oklahoma, and obviously they were there looking for a specimen. Did anybody have any weapons on them when you guys were witnessing the two, climb that hill?
Oh, yeah. No, I had a gun on my hip. My husband had his gun drawn. It was just me, being stupid, who ran in front of them because I don't know why.
Got it.
They would have had a shot.
If something's running that, like you said, bungee cord up the hill, you're standing there with your mouth hanging open going, whoa,
yeah.
right? I mean, you're not thinking about shooting at that moment.
Right.
I mean,
No,
next time maybe.
I was in no condition to anyway, because I went into a mild form of shock.
Right, yeah.
And it took me a while to even get out of that. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
First time I saw one, I didn't go camping again for 6 years. It was like, what the heck? I've been sharing the mountains with that all my life. It took me about 6 years to process that and be bold enough to go back and face it again.
Very cool.
It changes your life.
It does. All right, Kathy. I appreciate you coming on.
Stay
you
in
would
touch
not
with
believe.
me. Okay?
Oh my God, yeah. I think we're going to be planning a Thule trip here, within the next couple of months. And Alan will be in contact with you and your husband, and you guys are definitely going with us.
Awesome.
And from what I understand, because the last time we were up at the campsite, I think they're going to take us a little deeper, a little higher, supposedly where they're actually at.
Well, they said that, and you probably already know this, that beyond the Chololo campground, they actually have an ancient redwood forest, like it's the native, not been cut down. You know what I mean? I can't remember what they call that.
It's a giant sequoia.
Yeah, and they're like all the ones. A lot of them have been cut down and regrown. Grown back. This is not. This is old growth forest. So.
Wow.
Yeah,
and they
it's
say
a very
that,
nice grove, and they have stories associated with that grove with Bigfoot as well.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Very cool. All right, Kathy. Where can we get your book? Is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon, or you can go to my publisher. It is Hancock House Publications, and get it from them. But you can get it from Amazon, but I really recommend on Amazon getting it from Hancock and not some other people, because they're charging a ridiculous amount of money.
Okay, so
it's just a $40 book, and there's people who have it listed for like $150. Ridiculous.
Wow, so you're good. You're good. That's why they're doing it.
Well,
it has good stuff in it.
All right. Hancock Publishing, the book right now has been on our screen since you've been talking for an hour, so everybody knows the cover by heart. And it's called Giants, Cannibals, and Monsters, Bigfoot in Native Culture by Kathy Strain. Kathy, thank you very much.
I will have that information on the website
Absolutely.
too for you.
So
hopefully you
Thanks
sell
for
some
having me.
books.
we'll be in contact soon, okay?
Okay.
Okay, you take care, Kathy. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wow! Wow! That one gives me. I had goosebumps all the way through the whole show.
I'm done. We can call it a night. I'm done. Woo! I'm speechless.
You know what? Okay, now I've been doing this 4 years with him. I never seen him like jump out of his chair and do that yet. That's the first time
I
that
got
I
tears
see
in my eyes.
him.
Look, see this? See this?
Yeah.
I got tears in my eyes.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm glad though she's coming from, because I'm scientific. I'm glad she's coming from
Yeah, you
that
are.
stance. Yeah, I'm very.
I'm glad you were with us because I like having your point of view sometimes. You were sitting so
Sometimes.
quiet though.
Well,
I love it.
You,
Yeah.
what do you say to that?
Yeah.
So I was taking it all in still, and Jeff's over there crying in the corner. But that was really cool. Her stance on that, and she's right. We do need a body.
Yeah. Well, we've said that a few times, and we took a lot of heat for it, on Facebook and stuff like that.
Well, they're not like freaking Care Bears.
Right.
I mean, you can't. She's
No, they're
right.
not.
You can't go play with them.
No.
They're animals.
Well, I mean, if I've been saying it, like even yesterday I was on a Bigfoot believer only group. Okay, and there's 7,500 members to this group, and they have the touchy-feely guys and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I was telling them, they're not that. I mean, these things are predators. They're a higher predator than the bear or the mountain lion. I mean, they would be even more higher of a predator than us, just because her husband. I mean, just for instance, her husband goes and looks in a bush, and there's a log. Woo! Okay. The log is where he can reach out and touch it, and he thinks it's a log.
Right.
How many times have everybody, including me or anybody that went camping, has been that close to one and not even known it? I mean, it could have reached out and popped your head like a pimple.
Right.
Well, what about? Well, that brings up the question too. Wouldn't he have smelled?
Not necessarily.
I think they could turn it off and on.
Really?
Yeah, like a skunk.
That I couldn't tell you. I mean, these could have been very well groomed,
Or maybe
Bigfoot.
just the area it was all over.
Well, it's like deer. Deer have a scent gland, and they don't even use it until mating season. A lot of animals have scent glands, and they'll go and mark their territory and stuff with it, right? And theirs, I mean, I think they could turn it on. I think that is a warning sign for people. When you go in and you start smelling this big, bad stink, it's like, maybe I shouldn't even be here. I mean, that might be your warning to get out of there.
That's a good point. Never thought about that.
I really believe that's what it is. And I never smelt one. And I know I grew up in Bigfoot land. Yeah. And I've seen them. I've heard them. I've seen more than one. And I know, what they do and stuff. And I never smelled one yet. I never have.
That was crazy.
In the Thule reservation, I mean, I got so scared, I ran back in the tent, and then my nephew, who lives on the res, went out, and next thing I know, I hear him, cussing and coming back and getting under there. The next morning, and then the alarm goes off. That
my motions go off.
The motion sensors go off,
And there's no one out there.
and I'm hiding under the covers because I'm so scared. Because what I saw was huge. It was really huge.
Okay, I'm done.
Jeffrey's speechless.
I am. I'm totally speechless. This is going to go down as one of the best so far. I mean, we've had several.
Yeah,
we've been doing this. For all those who don't know, I've been doing this way before Alan came into the picture, and I've had some good shows. But this is probably going to be one of those where, when you have a Department of Forestry person, the credentials that this woman has, and just basically told you right here live on the air that we need a freaking body, and she's willing to shoot one. And that's what, Alan and I don't care what those other Bigfoot researchers say about us. I can care less, you guys, okay? I can care less. But we need a body.
Yeah.
We need a freaking body. And she's right. As soon as we find a body, then we will be able to, to put these on the endangered species, to make them illegal to shoot, and then study them. And now people will know that they are real. And you know what? When people finally realize that Bigfoot is real, then they're going to go, then what about UFOs? Then the world is going to change.
Yeah.
The world, according to, they were brought up that monsters don't exist. They only exist in movies and in cartoons. Bull crap. All right? That's all I have to say. It's bull crap. There is so much going on out there in this world that you guys need to open up your minds and get out of that little hole that you guys have been in all this time, because there is stuff that you guys are going to be blown away. And that's what we're here about, is to tell you about that stuff and to bring it out in the open like Kathy did tonight. And don't tell me that you still don't believe in Bigfoot, because you just heard it from her. All right.
I want to have her back on again.
Oh, we're going to bring her in.
And this time
we're going to bring her. No, we're going to bring her
Yeah.
in the freaking
In
studio.
the studio.
Yeah. So okay, that's it for us, guys. I don't know what to say, but I'm speechless, and I'm hoping we can have a show like this next week. We're going to darn good try. So
I don't know.
Oh, okay. So all right, my name is Jeffrey, and that's Ellen, and that's
And I'm
Emerald.
Good night.
And we just did a kick-ass show for you guys. I hope you guys appreciated that, because damn it, I just peed in my pants. Good night, everybody. Take care.
You have been listening to Paranormal Central with Jeffrey Gonzalez and Alan Thomas, broadcasting worldwide at paranormalcentral.net and on artbell.com. Stay tuned for next time. Remember to keep your eyes to the skies, and we hope you witness something you cannot explain.
Looking for you, you're looking for me.